Stampers, this is Sarah with Stinkin' Cute Cards, and I have the last of October's Hostess Club cards to share with you today. We're going to make a quick little thank you using the By the Shore Designer Series paper, and I've got a different look with it. The By the Shore is obviously very summery and by the shore. So I've just used scraps of the blue stripes to give it a completely different feel and make a real nice little thank you card for you. We're going to use the Touches of Texture stamp set. I really like this set. It's got some splatter as well as a real nice flower here in the background. So let's go ahead and get started with that one. We're also going to use a stamp set called One Big Meaning. Again, we're going to use the thank you. You're too kind, thank you. So. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let me show you the cutting sizes that you're going to need. You're going to need 1/2 a sheet of cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. You're going to need a layer for the inside that's 4 inches by 5 1/4. Basically, 2 just scraps of designer paper at 5 1/2. And then this one is 3 5/8 by 5 1/2, as well as a little piece. I believe this is 1 inch by probably 4 1/4. So, and then you just need a scrap of the Very Vanilla for your saying. All right, let's go ahead and get this started. Real simply, we're just going to fold our cardstock in half. We're going to add the By the Shore to the side. And again, the important part is to make sure that these lines are going to line up. And so I need to put it this way. All right. Then we're going to do a little bit of stamping and watercoloring. We're going to use the Early Espresso ink pad and the smaller of the 2 pieces of paper and the flowers. I'm going to stamp that one right there. I'm going to stamp this one right here. And because I want to do an inside, I'm going to go ahead and stamp another one right there. Okay? And then what we're going to do is we are just going to watercolor. We're going to use the lid of the stamp pads of the Delightful Dijon, the Arles Artichoke, and the blender pen, and we're going to go ahead and watercolor that whole thing. I'm just going to watercolor this. If you're going to use the blender pen, what you do is you just squeeze a little bit of the ink up there on the top and use your blender pen to color it in. Scribble till it runs clear, and then you can go on to the next one. I believe the blender fluid is a glycerin-based fluid, so and it works really well. Don't quite know the science of it, but it works great. And so then when you're done, just scribble till it runs clear, and you can go on to the next color. All right, so now that my flowers and stems are just about colored in, one real thing that I want to share with you is that the Early Espresso is not a true watercolor pad. It is not waterproof, but I have found that if I don't scrub really hard on the flowers, it seems like it will hold the brown. There's not a whole lot of muddying with that, but again, it is not a true watercolor pad like the Basic Black or the Memento. But again, if you're not scrubbing real hard, the colors stay pretty true. And what I do too is I purposely try to stay within the lines just so that I'm not touching that brown. But I do think that if you were to scrub real hard and do a lot of shading, your browns would have a tendency to meld. But I try to avoid that. So, okay, then what we're going to do is this stamp set has got a real nice little splatter, kind of a little pollen or splatter, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to use the Delightful Dijon with that one. And I did stamp off, oh, looks like chocolate. How did chocolate get on our ink? One never knows here. Okay, see, that's too dark. I would have wanted to stamp off, but chocolate distracted me. And So I've just got a little bit of splatter going on there. Again, I was distracted by the chocolate. We'll just add a little bit more here on this corner too. So we've got some on the inside. Okay, all right, well that is going to be attached to the front of the cardstock. And we're just gonna put that right there. Move it over. All right, so we're just going to attach that to the front of our card base, and we're going to use a little bit of this linen thread and knot it around to give it just a nice country look here. All right, just going to tie that in a bow. All right, just going to slide that down. Position my ribbon closer to the bottom. You can just slide that looking like that. Go ahead and, all right, we'll just slide that down. Fuss with our little knots here a second. Okay. Okay, then we're going to use the triple banner punch, and we are just going to punch the banner. Attach. We're going to attach that to the front right about here, kind of to cover up our stems, make it look a little bit like a garden. All right, now we're going to do a technique called omitting with the Scotch tape, and it's an old technique. You probably have already seen this, but again, I just want to remind you about it. One of the tricks is you need to start with a completely clean stamp. You don't want any residual ink on your stamp. I want to omit the "You Are Too Kind," and I just want the thank you. So you could go ahead and use your marker to omit the "You Are Too Kind," but I just want to go ahead and use Scotch tape here, and I'm going to ink it up with the blue. Now the trick is you have to remove this. If you don't, you're going to end up with a huge mess. So we're just going to stamp the thank you there. And then again, I want to get it really clean. And we're going to omit the thank you this time for the inside of our card. And line that up. And go ahead and ink that with the Always Artichoke this time. So we're going to go ahead and ink that up, remove the tape, and stamp the "You Are Too Kind." And you'll notice because that was clean, the thank you, there was no residual thank you there. So then it's just a matter of going ahead and adding this to the inside of our card. It's so birdy. And you can use a little scissors or the banner punch. Again, if you come up the center, angle, angle, come up the middle, angle, angle, then your little flags are usually a little more even. We're going to go ahead and add some dimensionals on this. So this was my reject side. And that is just going to go here on the front. Add that right here. And then go ahead and use your scissors and some of the little pearls. We're going to put a few pearls right here in the center of these flowers. 1, 2, 3. All right, if you have any questions or are interested in participating in our Hostess Club to Go remotely, please contact me at stinkincutecards.com. And there you go. This one is one of those stinking cute cards. It's our Hostess Club for October. Thanks again. For more stamping information, visit my website at www.stinkincutecards.com. Thanks. Bye-bye.